I think the insurance industry in Botswana has had a period of moderate growth. The high growth rates of the past have sort of not been repeated over the last few years, both on the short term and the life space. And this is probably related to the economy also being a little bit slow, growing but slow. So we're expecting growth to pick up in the coming years. We expect the economy of Botswana to pick up and a new investment to come in, and we expect that to spur growth of insurance. We're also expecting and hoping the insurance industry to put out new products for the currently uninsured market. There's quite a big push by the government to be more financially inclusive. So we find that they're encouraging micro-insurance, micro-lending and products that serve the currently unbanked and uninsured population. And the insurance penetration rate in Botswana is still quite low. And so this is a push from the government and from the industry to say, how can we use technology? How can we analyze the needs of consumers and provide products for them? So yeah, Botswana has had a new president on the 1st of April, 2018, this year, and he has set about the growth of business as one of his primary objectives. There's a number of initiatives the government has undertaken, are currently undertaking, to make it easier to do business in Botswana. They're passing some regulations which make it easier to register companies, and it's easier to do your returns online and so forth. So there's quite a bit of improvement in that area. They're also working on easing restrictions on bringing in skilled labor into the country, as well as visitors visas, business visas. They're just making that whole process much easier. So when the government goes out and says we're open for business, they genuinely mean the country is open for business. So they're really working on that. A number of trade missions have been undertaken around the region and around the world to get investors to see Botswana in a more positive light. There's definitely been an increase in regulation in the insurance industry in Botswana in the last few years. This is following on from trends globally and in the region. There has been an increase in regulation in the insurance sector specifically, and then generally in the financial sector. So we're seeing a lot more regulation around anti-money laundering and know your customer requirements. But within the insurance space specifically, there have been changes in terms of the Retirement Funds Act, as well as the Non-Bank Financial Institutions Regulatory Authority Act and the Insurance Industry Act. So all this regulation has been updated and basically seeks to improve consumer protection, to make it easier for consumers to understand what they're buying. There's more regulation around who can act and work in the insurance industry and the capitalization requirements around it. So it's really, it does make it more important for companies to consider that and to be compliant. At the same time, what it will do, as it has done in other parts of the world, is ensure that you get less failures, you get less insurance companies that go under over time, you get less brokers that have problems, you get better advice given to people that take the right products. So in the long run, we think it's good for the economy, but yeah, in the short run, the changes do bring some sort of added costs. You have to have compliance officers, you have to have principal officers and so forth. So it does bring some added costs, but at the same time, once you're through it, you come out as a much stronger company. So I think what is happening in Southern Africa is that there's a trend to collaborate. So from a government perspective, there's more interaction between SADC countries at a government level. There's also more interaction between the SADC countries at the Ministry of Finance level. So Ministry of Finance will be regulating insurance. So there's more interaction at that level. And then at the regulatory level, likewise, the regulators are meeting more often. The Southern and also Eastern African regulators are meeting more often. And you're starting to see some of the regulation coming together. You see common threads coming through. So if one country does something, a few months later, a few years later, the other country does it as well. So we're seeing that. And then at the insurance industry level, at the institute level, we're starting to see the same. Whereas a few years ago, we only had the Insurance Institute of South Africa that was active. Now you're seeing the Insurance Institute of Botswana, Insurance Institute of Zimbabwe, Insurance Institute of Namibia. A number of institutes are starting to be more active and cooperating with each other, but it's still at an early stage. The Insurance Institute of Botswana does work quite closely with the Insurance Institute of South Africa, and a lot of the industry professionals in Botswana have qualified under the IISA dispensation. Hi, I am Dziki Nganunu. I'm the president of the Insurance Institute of Botswana, and you are watching RISKAfrica TV.